Dana Jean Phoenix, and I play the role of Holly in The Wedding Singer here at Stage West Calgary.
Well, my name is Aidan Desalaiz, and I'm playing Robbie Hart here at Stage West Calgary.
I'm Elicia MacKenzie, and I play Julia Goulia, or Julia Sullivan, before she gets engaged.
My name is Ian Ronningen. I'm from Vancouver Island, British Columbia, and the role I play Sammy in The Wedding Singer. I like to do voiceover work. That's my big thing. It's my favorite thing to do. Ever since I was a kid, I've wanted to do cartoons. I wanted to do things like that. And a couple years ago, I got the opportunity to be in a cartoon, Total Drama Island. They hadn't recast any characters for a long time, so when they finally did, and I got to be in there, I was very excited to get to play Rodney on Total Drama Pakatu Island.
Yes, I was on How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria. That was quite a few years ago now. Yeah, the winner, yes, the winner. And then I went on to play the sound in Maria in The Sound of Music. And yeah, I also have a Christmas CD out that I did a couple years ago now, and it's on iTunes and CD Baby if you want to get it. So yeah.
We're almost into the season.
Yes, it's coming very soon.
For the first few years of my career, when I started out, I worked in Ontario mostly, and in Toronto and Stratford and London. And I think I'm pretty proud of the fact the past few years I've branched out and I've worked coast to coast, and I've got to experience different parts of Canada, and Calgary is fantastic, and the West Coast and the East Coast, and I'm really proud of that. I want to do more of that, see more of the country. So, yeah.
Yeah. Humble career brag. Well, I'd like to say that one of the most fun things I get to do is I'm a lead singer of a band called God Made Me Funky, Juno-nominated band, and we've actually toured out here to Calgary a few times and have had a chance to see Canada, tour across Canada, so that's pretty awesome. The role that I play is Holly, and I really love this character because she's so outgoing, and her go-to is she's always trying to make people laugh, and so there's a little bit of an awkward situation. She's trying to sort of ease it with a bit of a laugh and a giggle. And she's very fashionable. She's a big Madonna fan, and so her outfits are very reminiscent of the diva, so that's always fun to dress up in Madonna do.
For audiences and for me, I think I would say what I love about Robbie is his resilience. He goes through a pretty devastating situation sort of earlier on in the play. He has this hopeful, loving nature to him, and then that is just totally squashed. He's forced to reevaluate his whole life and how he thinks about love and marriage and women, but he gets back. He finds himself again with the help of Julia, and then some interesting things happen from there.
Julia Sullivan, and she is a sweet, possibly somewhat naive and goofy kind of girl, and she's just looking for the right man in her life.
What makes the audience love her?
Probably her sweetness, her kindness, you know, and she helps Robbie out, and they become friends and all that. So that's probably one thing.
He is lovably dumb, but he's very driven. He wants very much to succeed as a musician. He wants Robbie to succeed. He wants all of his friends to get everything they've ever wanted, and so he's always pushing them to do that and giving terrible advice along the way. Yeah, he's a loving person, and that's, I think, what I like about him so much. And I love playing dumb, even though a lot of the time I'm not playing. So
I almost didn't recognize you without your mullet. So.
Oh yeah. I miss it.
Let's talk about 80s trends.
Yeah, let's do that.
Anything you recall?
I actually had a mullet when I was a kid. I had this little blonde. My hair was blonde. I had this little blonde mullet and wearing the fluorescent colors and all that sort of stuff. I had a lot of hand-me-downs. My sister's 2 years older, so the clothes were still around. So for me, I don't remember the 80s specifically. Everything bleeds over into the 90s for me because I I've always been that way, even through the 90s and into the 2000s, and even now. If someone doesn't tell me, oh, you should be wearing this, I'm behind a few years. So like hairstyles, all that stuff, I'm just like, I don't know. So my 80s memories, I probably had a mullet until 91 and then cut it into a rat tail and then got rid of that, and yeah. But when I got this part, when my mom found out I was doing this, she almost begged me to grow a mullet, and I said no. I said I'm not going to do it, but I did grow the mustache. So that was my little bit of compromise there.
Ooh, well, I was born 87. I'll admit that. And I can remember my mom used to play Madonna's True Blue album throughout the house, and I can remember just dancing around to Papa Don't Preach, not knowing at all what it meant, of course, but it was such a dancey tune that, yeah, it was a great memory.
I have some pretty vivid recollections of the 80s. I'm a little older, I think, than my friends here, just by a few years. But and I have older siblings. My older sister is 13 years older than me, so I have quite vivid memories of their record collections, and I was pretty intrigued by those. In particular, my sister's Wham record, the Thriller album, Madonna. I mean, they had all those, and I just loved, I think similar to the ladies, just listening to the tunes and dancing around the house. Yeah, I would say that for sure.
Well, it's funny because mine is similar to Dana's, but my mom used to listen to a lot of Heart. I remember a lot of Heart, and I remember riding around on my pink bicycle with, like the Ghostbuster things and my little squeaky horn. That's one thing I remember. I was pretty young in the 80s too, so.
But I don't think that the mullet is the worst 80s trend. I think that there are probably a lot more. But I can't think. I am a big fan of the 80s, so I can't. Bad music, bad 80s music is my favorite thing in the world. Looking up Right Said Fred's other songs, always fun. But yeah, I think that's probably the worst thing is some of the music, but it's so close to me. I love it.
I think the teasing, I'm glad it went out the door, because the damage that must have done, we would be going bald now if we were still doing the teasing. So, thank you for leaving us.
It's hard to say because the 80s are so close to my heart. I feel like I'm betraying them. But maybe if I had to choose one, maybe the pleated pants. I don't think that's such a good look. But then everything comes back. So, I mean, maybe it'll come back in style and I'll change my mind. But I won't be wearing them anytime soon.
No hammer time.
Yeah.
But I think I loved a lot of the 80s stuff when I was a kid. I mean, the scrunchies, the little hair clips, all that stuff, the little pink poofy things, the high socks, and all that stuff. So much fun.
What is the best wedding song in the world?
Oh, okay, I don't know about the best wedding song in the world, but I did sing a song for my aunt and uncle for their wedding, which was Everything I Do It For You, the Bryan Adams, and I think it was, who else sang it? Anyways, that was a good one. I quite enjoyed that.
I don't have a favorite wedding song, but I have a favorite wedding memory, and it's very recent. It was within the past year. I was working a wedding in Toronto, and this couple had a band come and play a total of 3 songs. 2 of them were originals, and one of them, which was just the worst song choice, was Love the One You With. So if you can't be with the one you love, honey, love the one you with, which I just thought, that is maybe the worst song you could choose for your wedding day. So
probably my favorite, again, is linked to my siblings because I have 3 older siblings, and this songs I sang at each of their weddings called The Prayer, Celine Dion and Andrea Bocelli. It just, I don't know, it's close to my heart, and I think it's pretty special, so I would probably go with that one.
Well, I have actually sung a lot of weddings in my day, and I have to say my favorite thing to do is at the end of the night to sort of send the newlywed couple off. I like to sing Let's Get It On by Marvin Gaye. To sort of, christen the new couple. One wedding that I played, I remember the groom got so wasted he was in the bathroom vomiting up a storm while they were to do their final dance together. And the bride was left on the dance floor just bawling her eyes out with all the bridesmaids consoling her. And it was just heartbreaking. But you look back on it and think, oh my God, that was actually kind of funny. Another great wedding memory, I was at this one wedding in Toronto, and Howie Mandel was the master of ceremonies. He later told us that he was a big fan of our band, which was really, really cool. But at the end of the night, everybody got so drunk that all the groomsmen completely stripped down to their boxers and bow ties, started jumping on the stage, trying to like play our instruments, and at the very end of the night, the groom was so hammered, he announced as everybody was exiting, "Yo, party up in our room, in our hotel room, 868. And the bride was like, "No, that's our wedding suite, no!" And everyone's like, "Yeah, party!" So everyone was going up the elevator, and they're saying us to the band, they're going, "Come on up, party with us." And that's okay, that's all right. So a lot of fun performing at different weddings, and yeah.